Welcome back, dear viewers, and you are still watching Cairo Local Time. And in this segment of our program, we will go back in history and know more about the important archaeological discoveries in Luxor city. And we are joined over the phone by Dr. Amr Atef. He has a PhD in museum in heritage and museum studies. Good afternoon, Dr. Amr.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
So, Dr. Amr, let's focus first on the recent archaeological discoveries in Luxor city.
Well, Luxor city, as a matter of fact, is considered to be the most important, I would say, archaeological city in Egypt. And it was the capital of Egypt, of course, as we know.
Yes.
Well, 3,400 years ago, an ancient Egyptian king abandoned his name and his religion and his capital, which was Thebes, that was known today as Luxor, and he moved to the new capital, that was shortly lived, the city of Akhetaton, or Akhetaton. He ruled alongside with his wife Nefertari from this new capital, which later on was known as Tel Amarna. Archaeologists recently, in September of last year, were able to find the lost golden city in Luxor that was discovered by Dr. Zahi Hawass.
Yes.
And they're still working on the excavations and still unearthing all the artifacts of this city. There is no doubt about Amenhotep III was the one who built this city, or the Golden City. Amenhotep III was Akhenaten's father, and he ruled between 1386 and 1353 BC. And then after that, Amenhotep III, Akhenaten, as a matter of fact, used the city, and then King Tutankhamun. And after King Tutankhamun, also the high priest who married the widow of King Tut, used this city as well. If we go back to the city or the Golden City, it's considered to be maybe the most important discovery of this century, if I can say, as it will shed the light on the daily life of the ancient Egyptians for the first time. We all know about the temples and the tombs and the pyramids and the wonderful ancient civilization, but we do not know much about where did the ancient Egyptians live, what did they eat, how their daily life used to be, their homes and what have you.
Yes.
So this new discovery will shed the light on and answer, hopefully, those questions for the first time.
Yes. Sir,
so that's what makes actually this city, this discovery important.
Why it is called the Golden City?
Well, it's because of its importance, and that's why.
But there is no gold or anything.
The Golden Lost City, and it has been used by, 3 generations of pharaohs on the row, and then also the way the houses were built, the artifacts that were found, it's priceless. They found in this new city, they found a bakery, a kitchen, items related to metal and glass production, buildings that appear related to administration. So there were administration buildings in this city as well, and even a cemetery filled with rock-cut tombs. So it's a total, complete city where people were living, and even a cemetery, and skeletons were found also in the city itself. Actually, Betsy Bryan, Professor Betsy Bryan, the Egyptian art professor of Egyptian art archaeology at Johns Hopkins University, said that this will unearth lots of information about the daily life of the ancient Egyptians.
Yes, sir. Also, it's worth mentioning that Egyptologist and archaeologist Dr. Zahi Hawass received the award of the most important archaeological discovery for leading the Egyptian mission that uncovered the lost golden city in Luxor in 2021. And this award was received during a ceremony organized during the 24th edition of the Mediterranean Exchange of Archaeological Tourism that took place in Italy. So what is the significance of this award?
Well, this award is considered to be, a very important award because, as I told you, Dr. Zahi Hawass is the one who is leading the team who discovered the golden city, and the site itself was discovered by Dr. Zahi Hawass, Professor Dr. Zahi Hawass, and that's why he got this award for this big discovery, and that also reflects how important this discovery is.
Yes.
Because again, it's the first time that we will know about the daily life of the ancient Egyptians. That's the main point of the importance of this discovery. And Dr. Zahi Hawass, of course, is the one who discovered the site, and they're still working on the excavations. Dr. Zahi Hawass and his team are still working on the excavations of the site of the Golden City up till now, and still continuing to unearth the secrets of this big discovery. I would say that this discovery would be more important even than the Rosetta Stone, or even as equal, because if the Rosetta Stone helped us to decipher the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics and the ancient Egyptian language, the Rosetta Stone that was discovered by Champollion,
yes,
the French archaeologist, or decipher, actually, it was discovered by Bouchard, a French soldier in the army of Napoleon Bonaparte, but the one who deciphered it was Champollion. Now, because of the Rosetta Stone, we were able to know about the ancient Egyptian language, and this discovery of Dr. Zahi Hawass, this Golden City, is as important because this will also decipher the ancient Egyptian daily life habits and how the ancient Egyptians lived and how the locals were living. As I told you, they found a bakery, they found houses of the people, mud brick homes, zigzag walls that we found for the first time. By the way, the importance of this zigzag mud brick walls is it's a self-supporting wall. So, if the wall is built just on a straight line, it can be easily eroded. But when it's zigzag walls, it's like this zigzag walls would be a self-support by itself. So that's why it lasted longer. And the other thing is, 4 generations again of pharaohs actually used this city. We're talking about Amenhotep III. We're talking about Amenhotep IV, Akhenaten. We're talking about King Tutankhamun. And because Akhenaten left this city and moved to Tel Amarna, to Akhenaten, as I told you. And then King Tutankhamun, who returned back to the cult of his ancestors, used the city again, the Golden City. And then the high priest Ai, who married Queen Ankh-Sempa-Aten, the widow of King Tutankhamun, also used this Golden City. So this discovery of Dr. Zahi Hawass is considered to be the biggest discovery of this century for sure. And as I just mentioned to you, ma'am, that it's as important as the Rosetta Stone, because again, it will shed the light and decipher the ancient Egyptian daily life habits for the first time.
Yes, sir. One will be able to display this golden city to tourists.
Well, they are still working. They just started the excavations. Dr. Zahi Hawass and his team just started the excavations in last September. the September of last year. So they are still working on the excavation, and whenever you go to Luxor, to the site, you will see, Dr. Zahi and the archaeologists and the whole team is working on the site, which is mind-blowing. I mean, to see the walls, to see the artifacts, to see where people live. This, I mean, it's very extraordinary, and it's amazing. And I think it's the first time for people to be able to, see something like that. So up till today, they are still working on the excavations, and actually I don't have a timing for the declaration or the opening of this city for the visitors, or the inauguration for the visitors.
Yes, sir, do we have any archaeological missions also working in Luxor city?
Of course. I mean, Luxor, as a matter of fact, especially the west bank of Luxor and the east bank, but if we're talking about the west bank of Luxor, it's full of archaeological excavations and digs that are going on. I mean, when you go there behind the Colossi of Memnon, in Luxor, in El Gorna, you'll find the archaeological expeditions working hard, unearthing the artifacts in this area, and so that's one of the sites, and also close to the temple of Ramses III, there are also archaeological digs that are going on. So there are lots of archaeological excavations and digs that are going on in the city of Luxor, in the west bank of the city of Luxor, and even on the east bank. So yes, they do lots of discoveries and excavations that are taking place here.
Yes, sir. Also, one of the important places here in Egypt also is the necropolis area of Saqqara necropolis area, as it is also full of many archaeological discoveries. Do you expect more archaeological discoveries to take place in Saqqara this year?
Absolutely, you're right. I mean, Saqqara was such an important site in the ancient Egyptian times, and of course we know that the step pyramid that was built by King Zoser or Djeser of the 2700 BC, and the one who built it is the famous architect Imhotep. So they have been unearthing lots of tombs and lots of sites in Saqqara. Especially the biggest discovery so far was the Bobastian area that was discovered by Dr. Mustafa Waziri, the head of the Antiquities Department, of course, and all his team, the archaeological team that is working with him in the site. So, and by the way, the Bobastian excavation or the Bobastian discovery is considered to be the first discovery with totally Egyptian hands. I mean, all the archaeologists who are working in the site, the manager of the site, and all the archaeologists there, all of them are totally Egyptian team. So it's the first time to have a discovery of a site with totally Egyptian hands and totally Egyptian team, which again is the Bobastian area in Saqqara. And now, if you visit Saqqara, ma'am, you are going to see and find on the sides of the road, also the archaeologists are working and unearthing new areas. Looks like a city, I mean, with the walls and the gates, and it's amazing. And I think Saqqara has more to offer and has more secrets to be unearthed still.
Yes. Also, sir, if we talk about preparations for the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum, what is the latest?
Well, first of all, the Grand Egyptian Museum, the GEM, I mean, the name actually is very, suits the site, if I can say. gem, which is the Grand Egyptian Museum. I mean, it stands for the Grand Egyptian Museum, and at the same time, I think it's a gem among all the museums worldwide. It would be a city that's be full of artifacts, and it would be the largest museum worldwide that would accommodate Egyptian artifacts. And it's like a kingship museum. I mean, the way the museum is designed with the modern display and the modern museology, latest museology displaying of the artifacts, and they will be pieces that will be, I mean, on display for the first time, which is spectacular. I happened to visit the museum recently, and it's very impressive. And the statue of Ramses II, I mean, standing by the entrance of the big hall there in the gem in the Grand Egyptian Museum. So this will actually encourage more people and promote tourism in Egypt, and more people are willing and looking to come to visit the the Grand Egyptian Museum. This is the question that the travelers, when they come to Egypt, ask all the time: when will the museum be opened? We cannot wait to visit the museum. We will have to come back to visit the museum. People sometimes even delay their itineraries and adjust the tours to make sure that when they come to Egypt, it fits the time of the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum. So they are working, I mean, day and night, and hopefully soon the gem will be open for the visitors. But I don't have
exact information
date so far for the opening.
Yes. Sir, finally, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Amr Atef, PhD in Heritage and Museum Studies. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And it is worth mentioning that Luxor's lost golden city was named the world's most important archaeological discovery, and Egyptologist Dr. Zahi Hawass received the award of the most important archaeological discovery for leading the Egyptian mission that uncovered the lost golden city near Luxor in 2021. And Hawass received the award during ceremony organized during the 24th edition of the Mediterranean exchange of archaeological tourism that took place in Italy. And yes, Dr. Atef, and it's an important piece of news that all our audience should know about. And I'd like to thank you so much for your precious information.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you. And we would like to thank Dr. Zahi for all his efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Atef, and the viewers. By that, we come to the end of today's edition of Cairo Local Time. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, dear viewers. And I'm Shina Adel signing off.